Change your.
Welcome to Happy Hour, brought to you by Best Damn Bookkeeping.
I was saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's hilarious when one of us starts talking and then it's like, yeah, well, finally it kicked in. What are you saying?
Did you change your camera?
No, but it seems like it zoomed in more than normal.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why. I don't know what it's doing. Probably in the settings somewhere, but it is the same. Oh, let's see. Here. Yeah.
There you
There.
go.
It somehow went down to standard def. You know I need to be in high def, Jai. I'm a high def guy, Jai. All right, here we go. I am going to we're out here. We're live. Oh, I gotta I'm hitting the Instagram button. I'm really bad at remembering to go to the other screen and hit the live on Instagram button.
Oh, you're
I
good,
did
you're
it.
good.
It happened. We're out here.
What's up, everybody?
Here we go. Let me get to I'm going over to the Best Damn Bookkeeping page quick. And I'm gonna grab the live feed like we do. Oh, hold on. I got to turn the volume down on that. Otherwise, it goes back into the microphone. All right. Here. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to drop it over in the personal feed.
Where is everybody?
Um,
Very much busy.
Everybody's busy. Like, busy from trying to catch, like, all the holiday light guys
Keep up,
are
yeah.
out just slamming holiday lights. Angela and JC are traveling. I know Sean's trying to catch up after last week. He's got demos and stuff going on. But I got a topic for us, Jai. I got a topic ready to roll. Y'all checking in. Thanks for checking in. I'm dropping the link to the business page in my personal feed so that if you jump on and you want to comment, I'm going to yell at you and say, go to the business page. Then I can show it on the feed within StreamYard and, put it on the screen. Jai,
That's my job.
how you doing, Jai?
I'm good. How was you? How was Thanksgiving? How was you?
It's early for you. It's early.
It's 5 a.m.
Thanksgiving was good. My Packers won. My Packers beat the Lions, and that was a huge game for us. Didn't get any deer. Usually we do some deer hunting that Friday and Saturday, and we did, and we didn't get any, which is all right. I'm gonna go back. I have like enough, but maybe I could use one more for the freezer. I got my deer inventory all figured out. But as you know, my annual tradition to cut alcohol for a month here. So this is an athletic brew that I'm having. NA hazy IPA. And when I take my month off, I usually don't drink a lot of NA beers either. But I kind of feel like for a show called Home Service Happy Hour, like if we were in a bar and I wasn't drinking beer, I'd have an NA beer. So we're in a bar of sorts, and therefore I'm having an NA beer.
Well, I'm in an office, so I'm not allowed to drink alcohol.
I disagree. I disagree. It's also like 4 a.m. That might be a better reason why. But they're NA Athletic Brew Co. Shout out Athletic Brew Co. Make some good good NA beers for a guy taking a month off.
But I'm still sticking to what your old man says. You can't say what? You can't say
you've been drinking all day if you don't start in the morning.
Yep.
It's as true of a saying as sayings get, as far as I'm concerned. How was your Thanksgiving? Did you guys do anything cool?
We don't actually really, celebrate Thanksgiving, but we did have a team building activity from the call cell, like one of Unique Genius.
Yeah.
But mostly it's just, the Filipinos that are based here. Like
Sweet.
the Filipino team.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's not your guys' holiday, but since you guys work with so many American people, does it feel like a holiday still in a way?
Yeah, it does because it's our time off of work. Yeah. Short work week stuff. Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Did you you got together with the Click Call Cell group? Did you and your family do anything? Does it do you have time with your brothers or anything like that?
Yeah, that was a 2-day stint. Like we stayed, we rented the place, and then we stayed there overnight just to hang out and do team building stuff like
Nice.
party games. Yeah, and get to know each other more because we've expanded from in the Click Call Cell team, so we added a lot more people. Like
Heck yeah.
uh yeah, this year we like added like 5 people, I think, like from this year alone. So
Dang.
growth, yeah,
It's getting big over
yeah.
there. I have I don't know if we're gonna get any other panel members in here. Like I said, I know Angela and JC are traveling. I know Sean's doing recruiting demos with Hire Lead Chill, which I'll get through some of our sponsors and supporters here in a second. Um, Trevor's, I'm sure he's out trying to like make the last bit of money in holiday light season, as is Rob. Um, and Michael, I don't know. Michael's always working on something. He could be doing anything.
It's always
Uh,
busy. Yeah.
He's always a busy boy. But I've had a few conversations here. Oh, I got to do shout outs to our partners. I always forget. Um, as always, folks, the show is brought to you by Best Damn Bookkeeping because it's my show. Is Lindo says, "Oi,
Hey,
oi, oi, what's up, oi?" Um, is that like Irish? What is that? Oi, is that a thing? Feels Irish.
you know,
Um,
just trying to get
Yeah, could be Australian. But show is brought to you by Best Damn Bookkeeping only because it's my show and Best Damn Bookkeeping is my company. So naturally, like I bring you the show. But if you need any bookkeeping, which I'm going to talk about nerdy bookkeeping stuff today, I'm just going to make it way more fun than most nerdy bookkeeping stuff. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the tax side of things too. We get a lot of exposure to that in our bookkeeping business, and we do help some of our clients with tax stuff. 389 pounds, just ate 12 tacos, he says. That's I don't know if you're bragging or if you're looking for help. I don't know where to go with that one. But I do love me a taco.
tacos.
I got soup for dinner, but now I'm kind of feeling like tacos would be good. Be a good one. But I'm gonna get into some of the accounting stuff today. Show is also brought to you by Unique Genius. Virtual assistant strategic partners JC and Angela aren't on the show today, but give them a big shout out. They're always supporting the show. A bunch of team members on Best Damn Bookkeeping actually come from Unique Genius, which brings me to our next partner, which is Hire Lead Chill Recruiting. We get all of our account managers from them. Our entire team in the US is sourced through Hire Lead Chill. Awesome recruiting company. They do all the job market research. They post all the job ads. They filter all the candidates. They work through the funnel, and then they just like set them up for me to interview like the best of the best of the best ones. And they use Go High Level to like help me keep track of everybody. And so it creates like a CRM system for my candidates, candidate retention management, if you will, CRM. And so last time I needed to hire, I actually went back and just retargeted people that had already applied, like hundreds of people. And there's a bunch of good candidates out there. And I'm like constantly building my list. What's up, Heather Phillips in the house? 9564. Hope that's not the code to your vehicle or your luggage or anything. Not giving anything away there. Who else we got? Who did I miss? Live Switch. If you guys need to sell some stuff, which if you're out there and you're watching, there's a good chance you're involved in a small business. And if you sell things and or need clients, which most of us do, Live Switch, especially for home service companies where like video sales and like shortcutting the time and money spent to go out to a job site. Live Switch is like a video sales tool where you can basically like FaceTime with your client, but it's kind of a reverse FaceTime where they can show it, they can record it. You can show that video to your text before they go out to a job site. And so it saves you all the drive time back and forth, saves you needing a sales vehicle in a lot of cases. And it can go right into your CRM that you use or your field service management system that you use for your business. And then it's just like saved and the whole scope of the job is saved in there. It's way more efficient for your clients. It's way more efficient for you as a business owner. I know James has talked about it on the show before, but they're integrating some AI where the customer or your technician can even be out there and use it, and it'll help them troubleshoot. Like the video will use AI to troubleshoot and help come up with the right solution for a problem. It's wild stuff. Did I get them all, Jai? Did I get them? I think I got them.
I think
Oh, click, call, sell. We missed click, call, sell.
Oh yeah.
We should
I
probably
did too.
get click, call, sell. Michael Gregory, who's also not here because he's doing other stuff. Jai's got his click, call, sell hat on. But if you need help with your marketing, whether it's Google ads, Facebook ads, website stuff, like just a badass marketing team, that's what click, call, sell brings to you. Turns out, just like we need Live Switch to help us sell the leads, we need to get the lead from somewhere in the first place. So click, call, sell can get you the leads. Live Switch can convert them for you, and then you're gonna be like, oh man, I need some people to go do this work. And Hire Lead Chill and Unique Genius can set you up with the people to go do the thing. And then after you do a bunch of work, you'll be like, shit, I made all this money that I need to keep track of. Then you can call me and I'll tell you what worked and what didn't work.
It's all connected,
That's
guys.
how this works. That is how this works.
Yep.
But it is like December 3rd today, Jai. It's not like December 3rd, actually. It is December 3rd today when we're recording this.
I'm on December 4th.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I should have thought of that. You're tomorrow. You're time traveling, man.
I'm time traveling. Yeah. I'm ahead.
But it's getting I'm like starting to have more and more tax conversations with bookkeeping clients, with tax clients, with like all of our scope. Because now is the time where we start being like, oh man, business slowed down. What do I have left to do this year? One of those big like boxes to be checked is to get taxes done, to make sure you have the right people working on it. And I have a unique tax exposure in that for a long time. What's that?
Heather said you need to go. See you later.
Heather's out. Thanks for checking in, Heather. Go get him.
Right.
I sit in a unique seat from a tax exposure standpoint because for the longest time we didn't do tax for people. We just did bookkeeping, and then we would work with their CPA or their EA or whoever they had doing their taxes, their mother-in-law, whatever it was. We would make sure that the data was right to help get their taxes done. And that got a little bit frustrating at times. Just like anything, we got to see the good and the bad and the ugly. Like some CPAs were great. Some EAs were great. Some CPAs were just god awful and were charging a ridiculous amount of money. And like everywhere in between. And it was this wild, huge spectrum of service levels and prices. And I not that I didn't get it before, but after going through that and working with so many other vendors, it's really easy to see why small business owners don't like accounting, is because you have a group of people that are dealing with your money and are generally hard to trust. Like talk over your head, aren't transparent, don't communicate well. And I did a thing that I do every once in a while on this show, Jai, which is I have grouped accountants into two types of people. And I've made the statement before, and this is something I stole from Stephen Ranella, which is there's two types of people. There's the people that group people into two types of people, and then there's everybody else. So I guess I am one of the people that groups people into two types of people, and there's two types of accountants. There are, I shouldn't say there's two types. There's two types that I don't like, and then there's the ones in between that I do. And so I'm going to give you the ones that I don't like first. And if you're like, man, that's who I got, then you need to go do better, and you can do better. At one end of the spectrum, you have the lazy, non-communicative accountant. And sometimes they charge you a lot. Sometimes they charge you a little. A lot of times they treat you like you're really stupid and are frustrated when you ask them a question. Sometimes they bill you. This is what kind of like triggered me on this today. Sometimes they bill you just to ask them a question, but like they won't, if you reach out to them, it'll be days, weeks till you hear back. They won't invoice you when they do the work. They'll randomly invoice you later. and it feels like they're making stuff up. And they're just generally not on their game. I had a guy today that was so petty. He sent me an invoice. I'm not his client. We're doing the bookkeeping for his tax client, and we said, hey, and he does the payroll for this guy. And he said, well, here's my invoice for pulling those payroll reports for you. It's like, I am not paying your invoice. I am not your client. Your client asked us to do the books. You do his payroll. We either need the reporting or we need the reports from you. And he sent me an invoice. And I was like, Like, we never had a discussion beforehand, right? That, you could have said, hey, if you want me to go do this work, I'm going to need to bill you for it. Like, then I could have said, hey, client, do you want to pay this asshole to go do his job that you probably already paid him for, which is to run payroll and get you reports? Like, do you want to pay him for it? Or should we just say, screw it? Like, it's up to the client ultimately. So I cordially replied to the guy, like, no, I'm not paying your invoice. I copied the end client on it and said, like, we're just trying to do a good job for our mutual client here. Taylor will have to decide if he wants to have us, like, to pay you to send us data. That's not my decision to make. I'm not paying you to do your job that he hired you to do already. Like, you're not going to bill both of us to do your job. So that's like type number one: petty, lazy, slow. Yeah, not on their game. And they treat you like you're stupid because they want you to think they're really smart and like they know something that you don't. There's similarities to the other side of the spectrum too. If you think about like politics, extreme liberals and extreme conservatives are hilariously alike. And like, it's just a horseshoe. They meet back at the bottom. And so this ends up being the same thing. There's this horseshoe of accountants and they meet back at the bottom. The other version of that accountant is the very outspoken, the very like marketing accountant who is smoke and mirrors everywhere and everything is so cool and they're going to save you so much money and look at what we did over here and look at what we did over there. I don't want to make fun of Angela, but Angela had one of those guys on her show. Not on her show. She did like a webinar with him. And I was like, man, this guy is like just blowing so much smoke. It's crazy. Like, he's just making outrageous promises, but he's only looking at the one side of it. Like, here's your tax savings, not at here's all the money you had to spend to get your tax savings. They're the ones that say, like, we're going to do all this tax strategy for you. Here's your package. And they charge you a shitload for it. And they just make it seem like they're delivering, like they're value stacking and they're doing all these things for you. They just read the tax law and that's about it. And then they're actually, what I find them doing is they will make you spend money to save money on taxes so they can claim, like, look at how much money we saved you on taxes. But they don't include in that tax savings how much money you had to spend to save it. My favorite saying for it is it's going broke saving money. Like, anybody that tells you to spend money to save money on taxes is not looking out for your best interest. They want to be able to come back to you and say, look at how much money we saved you on taxes. You need us, right? We're so good at this. We save you so much money in taxes. They're the people that say, we're going to do your tax strategy. And I'm like, no, there's no such thing as tax strategy. Strategy is when you're doing marketing, like click, call, sell. And you're like, should we do this or should we do that? And how much money should we spend? And there's no guaranteed result. We're doing a strategic thing that has no guarantee. We're making a judgment call because we believe X, Y, and Z to be true.
Yeah.
None of that is applicable to taxes. Taxes, there's a law that says this is how it works. Now, the law is really convoluted, and you need somebody that's good at the tax tactics. And maybe they say tax strategy because nobody wants to be saying tax tactics like that. If you say that 10 times fast, you're in trouble. But that's really what it is. It's tax tactics. And so that is the second group of people, the flashy, like they're the ones out driving the fancy Mercedes and suit and tie, like making themselves like they're so smart and cool, right? And they're really marketers that just happen to do some tax work. I don't like either of those accountants. Like I said, those are the two spectrums of it. What I find is on one end, you might like on the lazy, bad communicating, cheap one, you might get a good deal, but they're not going to spend any time looking over your books, right? They're not going to spend any time saying, hey, you should really be taxed as an S Corp, or why didn't you use the Augusta rule this year, or X, Y, and Z. They're just going to take the data you give them. They're not going to ask you any questions. They're just going to do your stuff and send you an invoice. And when you try to talk to them, they're going to treat you like you're an idiot. And they talk over your head. That's like version number one. Again, you can do better. Even if it costs you more, you owe it to yourself to do better, because they probably are losing you money on taxes, which gives the tax strategy nut. Ed Aaron's in the house. Look at that guy. Ed Aaron's is over there.
Show it.
What's up, Ed? I was going to click on it, but I didn't want to click on it when you were clicking on it, because then it would disappear, and then we'd do that back and forth thing. So I was refraining from clicking on it.
It's like a lot of job to do when you have, end of the year taxes to get that. Is that like an annual thing for business owners in the US? Or even if you're not a business owner?
So I mean, like, every person has to do every adult has to do taxes. Business owners have to incorporate their business stuff into their taxes. Sometimes, depending on the type of their business, they have a separate tax return to file if it's the business is set up a certain way, which is a thing your tax person should be consulting you on. And so many times, me as the bookkeeper, I'm like, why aren't you on payroll? Why aren't you taxed as an S Corp? And they're like, I don't know. I asked my CPA about it, and they said not yet. And I'm like, I'm just pretty sure they're too lazy to do it, is why they told you no, but they're treating you like an idiot, right? They're just like, no, you don't understand. And that's, I just see that so often, which is why the other side exists, right? It's again, this is like politics in the US, which is the other side is so ridiculous because they point to the other ridiculous side and say, like, look at how stupid these guys are, and look at how the. And so then you have your tax strategy people that are like, we can save you so much money because I know you're used to working with this lazy piece of shit who isn't even looking at your stuff. And so I'm going to charge you thousands and thousands of dollars and then I'm going to show you that I saved you all this money. So it like justifies itself because, hey, I only billed you $4,000, but I saved you 12. We clearly paid for ourselves. Like that's the game that they play.
Okay,
Again,
stop. Before you start, before you start sharing the two, is it 2 or 4? I don't know.
I'm gonna give you the wedge. I'm gonna like give you the wedge that if you're dealing with either of those spectrums, how do you get to like the non-ridiculous extremes where like you actually get what you pay for?
Okay. Before we go into that, we need to go to commercials because we
do need to go to a commercial. You're right. Thank God you're here, Jai. Who knows what I'd be doing or saying if you weren't here. All right. Take us away. I'm going to drink some of this NA Athletic brew over here while you take us away to commercial.
We'll be right back, guys.
Attention Green Industry Pros. It's almost time for the biggest event in the Carolinas, Green and Growing 2026. Turfs Up Radio will be there broadcasting live, bringing you interviews, product launches, and expert insight. Want to grow your business? Then don't miss this one. January 2026. Register now at greenandgrowing.com. Tune in and turn up on Turfs Up Radio. Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Get ready to abandon gas with Crest Commercial. With insane power and extreme longevity, the era of batteries trailing behind gas engines is over. With the Crest revolutionary 8-minute cyber system, Crest Commercial landscape tools provide the same power and performance as their gas-powered counterparts, as much as a 2-stroke engine. Plus, the Crest 60-volt CyberPack batteries charge in 8 minutes or less. Professional landscapers can finally make the switch to battery without sacrificing performance, power, or runtime. Crest, it's the only choice to replace gas. For more information or to find a dealer near you, visit Crest.com.
Hey everybody, Wayne Voles, the Prophet, your host of Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. If you listen to my show, you know I'm all about profit. As an industry, profit is something we fail to meet most of the time. If you're working hard but not seeing the results that you deserve, Profits Unlimited is here to help. We offer processes and systems designed specifically to make your company more successful, more profitable, and certainly more efficient. When you're ready to take your company to the next level, reach out to me at profitsareus.com. That's profitsareus.com. And don't forget to turn into Profit Time every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m.
Oh boy. Whoa. Jai, you look so different all of a sudden. One, there he is. Chad Murray's in the house. Jai disappeared. Chad's in the house. Jai, where'd you go? You can be here. You can be here too. He's back there hitting buttons. He gave it the pow.
Are you alone today?
Yeah, I'm just riffing on why some tax people suck and who you should be looking for to get tax help. So I covered the people that suck, but I didn't talk about what you should be looking for. Although a smart person would be able to say, like, if these two things suck, then what haven't I covered would be what you'd be looking for. What do you got going on today, Chad Murray?
I read an article today how Trump's trying to get rid of the income tax.
Just all together?
Yeah.
Just ditch it?
Let the tariffs handle it like it was intended. You know, we didn't start paying federal tax till like 1909 or something. And so tariffs were supposed to fund the government, not taxes.
That'd be interesting.
And so you haven't heard that?
I don't pay attention to politics, and
I'm not talking about just politics. You're in that kind of industry, so I kind of figured you might have heard something about that.
I've heard a little bit about the idea of like switching it to a consumption tax instead of an income tax. I've heard some thoughts on that, which I find a little interesting.
Well, I mean, consumption. I mean, I would assume, okay, they get rid of property taxes, they get rid of income tax. Then I would assume that our consumable tax would probably go up.
I would think so.
You would, I mean, well, unless what Trump's doing with the tariffs again are going to come full circle and pay for everything. Who knows? I mean, that's kind of the idea. And so you guys realize your recording error? You have a recording error? Okay, just making sure.
Where do you see?
I see it on my screen right below. It says you're on the show. Recording error.
I don't have that. You have a recording error.
I'm not recording.
You are. You actually are. You just don't know it.
Okay, well, I'm fine with it.
It records each of us individually and like mashes it back together, I think.
Huh.
So you're the one with the recording error.
You look great, by the way, Chad.
Thank you.
You need to start eating. You need to put some pounds on.
Yeah, I've lost a little over 90 right now. So
that's great.
You'd be half the man.
You'd
be half the man you once were.
I am. And so I bought these new shirts. You know, I like the hoodie t-shirts.
Yeah.
Although it kind of looks like a blouse. You know,
well, if you keep losing weight, you're gonna have to get all new ones. And
I did order 3. I always let so even when I'm under 200 pounds, because of my shoulders
lower.
I'm still a 2X. So I decided to still do 3X. Well, I'm starting to learn that I'm not a 3X anymore.
You might be out of the X's altogether here.
I bought 36 jeans the other day, man, and wore them on Thanksgiving, and they were a little big.
Hell yeah!
Wow,
so I'm getting there. Oh yeah, and so
so I appreciate that,
Jive. So yeah,
sweet.
So,
okay, before we got into the break, I'm sorry, Chad, you were saying something.
No, go ahead.
No, before we got into a break, Dan was about to, tell us something about his favorite or the wedge in between.
The wedge between the shitty tax people. Chad, how many tax people have you used in your professional career?
Until I found the good one, I was skipping every other year finding someone new. Yeah, I've had I'll make this a quick story. And I know that's hard for me to do.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
but one day I was camping with my cousin who is a chiropractor, and we're sitting there on the pond drinking beer. And we're talking Texas camping. We're on a Texas pasture or the pond with cattle running around.
Naturally, probably some big largemouth in that pond.
Oh yeah. So there were some cats in there, some mud cats. But anyway, we're sitting there and drinking beer, and something came up about taxes, and I'm like, yeah, I was the one complaining. I'm like, man, I paid like back the time. I think this time I was doing about $1 million a year. And he was doing about $1 million a year. And even though he's a chiropractor, our bills were pretty similar. So we said, talk about it. And he goes, yeah, I paid in about 10 grand. I don't remember exactly the number. And I'm like, I paid 30. He's like, don't you use George? And I'm like, who's George? He goes, your whole family uses George. And I'm like, what? Because he was my cousin-in-law. So he married my cousin. And I'm just like, I've never heard of George. Lily tried to get on the phone and call my dad to ask about George. Middle of nowhere, no signal. So when I did get some signal, call my dad, and my dad goes, "You don't know George?" I'm like, "Why does everyone keep saying you don't know George to me?"
Yeah,
my aunt said it to me. Everyone's, I probably had 4 people by the time say, you don't know George. Yeah. George is he's dead now, and I have his protege now has been doing my taxes since he died, but George had he was the highest CPA, an attorney for CPA. He had this many numbers, alphabet after his name. And the best thing I knew about George is one day he calls me up. Hey, you got good news or bad news? What's that? Bad. He goes, you got an audit. I go, what's the good news? He goes, it's over with. You could just send the paper and send it.
That's a good call.
Okay, what did I have to do? He goes, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Done.
He goes, don't worry about it. I took care of it. It's over. And so I still, to this day, don't have any idea what that audit was about.
Yeah. It was probably nothing, but it was just like, you don't need to know. Just, you got an audit and it's already
exactly. So and then his protege, Bob's been doing them for years. And George was like slick with the law, right? All the legal loopholes and all the. I think Bob's a little more. Fuck it, let's just see what happens. With some this fits the code. Let's like one year he goes, how much you want to pay in taxes? And I go, well, doesn't the numbers tell us that? He goes, I can make it whatever you want. Whatever our numbers were. I go, do I love this guy? Or am I going to jail?
Or am I getting nervous? Yeah.
So here's the funny thing. So I got that phone call from Bob that year. This is probably 10 years ago now. I call my cousin Rob, who's a real estate agent. He's a year older than me. We're like best friends. I go, Bob just called me and asked me what I wanted to pay in taxes. He goes, oh yeah, have a ticket ready to go to Mexico if you ever get an audit. Bob will help you out. He'll fight for you to death. But he's got a ticket to Mexico fast too. So whatever we're gonna do, be ready to run. And he's totally kidding, right? But I'm just like, okay, I think this is good. I'll just stay on the gray of this.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the answer that I wanted or not.
Yeah, and so we did go through an audit after that one time, and Bob had been on my ass to put myself on payroll and stop using our account as our personal account. I mean, this was like 9 years ago. I was I was in almost 18 years into it, and I was still using it. And I hadn't separated the account ever.
Yeah.
He's like, we're going to get audited, and you're going to get screwed. You're going to owe some money. You got all this stuff coming out here. I can't this, that, the other. And
I can't tell what's personal and what's business and what's what.
You're going to get messed up. Sure enough, we got an audit. I ended up having to pay another like $23,000.
That's not the worst thing in the world.
It wasn't. Well, at the time, it seemed like it sucked. Looking back, I'm like, okay. Well, and now I'm in this where I just sold the company, right? And I have all these 2 other LLCs, and I got to tell you, I was trying to figure out, because they all are intermingling, trying to figure out owner contribution, actual pay, this with all these different accounts. And I sat here for 2 days when I had to get him. I did it just back in August.
Yeah.
File extension. And I sat there spinning. I just sit and I took a massive loss. Which I did. I got it was not at Masters, but at my other two businesses. And I'm just like, I think this is wrong, Bob, but I've done it twice. And
yeah, but I don't know why it's wrong. So.
I don't know why it's wrong because I haven't. And so January 1, personal account again, no more master services. I'm out of that.
Yeah.
Separate the coaching and the marketing company. And everything gets paid to the personal.
Yeah.
So
clean slate.
Clean slate. So pretty sure if I get audited, if you IRS you're listening, I'm scared of you right now. So
take it. Only go back to Jan 1 of 2026.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it.
How far can they go back?
Depends. The answer is always it depends.
I'm on the depends side.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go back one more. Oh, we need one more. Yeah. Well, guess what? As long as you don't take my house, I guess just take it all. So
leave the wife and the kids in the house.
Yeah.
Leave me maybe a shotgun.
I feel pretty good about everything. Bob's got my back. So if they screw you over, what are you just going to payment plan and figure it out, right?
That's right. Payment
That's
plan.
how I always look at the government. And so, and have you ever done one of those IRS bankruptcy things that you do or you see on TV? You ever heard of people doing that?
No.
I haven't either. Just they used to advertise it like crazy on TV. Go only pay 20% or 10% of your IRS bill.
Yeah.
When I did talk to my accountant about it. I didn't need it. He's like, yeah, you are totally effed if you do that.
I gotta imagine like
you are on a list.
You're gonna be hiding under a rock for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you're on a list. So
to what I was talking about earlier with Jai, I had a guy today that kind of like triggered me on the accountant thing. And we do taxes for just our bookkeeping clients. Like if somebody's a bookkeeping client and they want tax help, we have a tax person in-house that'll help them out and like do all the stuff. But we still get so much exposure to other people's tax people in our business. And I run into the very like lazy ones that are annoyed by their clients. And then I run into the very salesy ones that act like it's all smoke and mirrors and they like value stack and charge you a shitload for it. So my goal today is to give folks the wedge of like what you're actually looking for, what's actually real, what actually is worth paying for. And so you got to avoid the lazy person that's trying to like bill you hourly for everything and you don't hear back from, and then when you do hear back from them, they send you an invoice. I had a tax person of one of our clients who manages their payroll. We started doing their bookkeeping. My account manager asked that payroll person / tax person to send us over the reports, and they sent us an invoice. Said, "Oh, for my time, it'll be this much." I'm just like, go F yourself. I'm not paying your invoice. Because you never said you were going to send us an invoice. Like, also, this is my client's payroll information. We're doing their books. We need this information. If you're going to charge, you have to charge them. Like, they hired us. I'm not going to play this game with you and have you charge both of us. But I would expect after this interaction, they'll probably fire your ass. So just heads up. Like, I was just like, man, just like what a lazy piece of shit. Like that was his recourse for, hey, send me some payroll reports. So you get that person that's just lazy and treats you like you're stupid. That's like spectrum number one or far side of a spectrum of CPAs. The hilarious thing was he charged like under $100 an hour. He's a CPA. Like what? Like
CPA. That's a bad bookkeeper,
right? Like I charge more than that for bookkeeping, and I'm not even that expensive for bookkeeping. Right. Like he lazy, doesn't understand business, doesn't understand how to talk to people, avoids their clients. The other end of the spectrum is the very salesy accountant, where they're like, "Oh, we got all these things, and we're going to meet quarterly, and we're going to do this, and we're going to save you so much in taxes, and we can prove mathematically we're going to save you this, and look at blah 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 blah." And they like, it's just a bunch of smoke and mirrors. And what I see them always do is They convince you to spend your money to buy things or to do different investments that create tax benefits. And then they claim, look at all the money we saved you in taxes. Even though if you actually look holistically at the entire transaction, they cost you money. Like they made you spend money on things to save money on taxes. So they could say, hey, we only charged you $4,000, but look, we saved you $12,000 in taxes. But to save the $4,000, they had you spend 30. So you're actually like worse off, and they charged you $4,000 to save the 12 that actually cost you 30. So I see that play out a whole bunch of, again, like it's always a little bit of like smoke and mirrors, and they tend to treat you like you're stupid. And a lot of times as business owners, we have so many decisions we need to make. We just are like, yeah, do your thing. We don't fact check them. We don't run it by somebody else. And so I'm in the middle and watching these two things. And so there is a sweet spot. And that's the picture that I want to paint for you guys is what should you be looking for? What is like the right type of accountant that can actually add value? And what does it actually cost? Like what's a fair price to pay for that service? I always go back to this with accounting, bookkeeping, taxes, anything in that space. The most important element, like the thing that you really need to be filtering, is how well do they communicate? If you have a tax person, a bookkeeper, or whatever that doesn't communicate, you'll always be in the dark. You will never get a straight answer. They're always going to be behind on their shit. It also shows that they don't actually know how to run a business, because if they knew how to run a business, they would know that's the most important part, and they'd be able to train their team on that's the most important part. And it really worries me when an accountant who I'm trusting to like consult me on my business doesn't know how to run a business, because they're their own business owner. Right? Like generally when you're working with that accountant, they are a business owner. And when you run into accountants that don't know how to run a business, that's scary. Like that's bad. That's bad practice when that person's supposed to be a financial advisor to you in a way. So I always look at the communication. In that communication, you should be hearing from them, or you should at least have access to them, that if you reach out to them, they're going to get back to you. Whether it's their calendar link, email, whatever. And in my opinion, you should not have to pay for that. It should be like you should be paying for it, and that it's like built into the cost, but you don't want somebody that's going to nickel and dime the hell out of you. That also means if you are a pain in the ass client, they should fire you, right? If you're bugging them every single week, or if you wait until December and then start asking them a bunch of questions when you haven't inquired on anything over the year and you're the shitty client, that CPA can get better clients than you, and they should fire you if you're ridiculous.
Well, as long as they're doing their job of asking questions during the years too, because you just can't put it off on December. They're calling me, but you never called them either.
Yep. I like having quarterly calls and like getting that set up in advance. You don't like, sometimes there's not that much to do, but there's enough stuff happening and changing that you shouldn't wait until the end of the year to be like, all right, tax person, it's go time. There's how much should you be paying in estimated taxes? Are you an S corp yet or not? Are you taxed as an S corp yet or not? And once you are, how much should you be paying, taking it as a paycheck versus paying in estimated taxes? And should you do additional withholdings, or should you write a check quarterly? Like, what's the best mechanism to do that? Should you be using the Augusta rule? Should you have that vehicle that's kind of personal, kind of business? Should that be on the books? Like, those situations keep changing, but there's tons of different things that keep popping up and keep changing in your personal life that they need to know, because your taxes, like your business doesn't pay taxes. Your business is just an element of your personal taxes. It all flows back to your personal taxes. So they need to get all the personal things going on in your life too. And you can't do that exchange if the communication sucks either way. So I always go back to that. The communication's got to be there, and they shouldn't be sending you invoices to do the thing you're already paying them to do. Like, that should be an expectation of a tax service, not an added, I have to bill you hourly to talk to you. Like, that's part of the service. The other thing that I find is I prefer, and this was an annoyance of mine with my old CPA, is we would just get a random ass bill with it was like in a 5-page document. It's just a bunch of legalese, but it never really like spelled out what we paid for. And it would come randomly. Like there was no rhyme or reason. Again, back to the like, wait, I'm trusting you to be like a business advisor and you can't even figure out how to send invoices. And when you do send them, it's like $5,000 and I don't know what the hell I'm paying for. And you're sending it to me in March or April when we do my taxes, which I kind of get because that's when you're doing your work. But I'm a home service business. That's when I'm broke. Like,
I think the best thing you're trying to say here, everybody listening, you know how to run a good business. Don't expect someone that you're hiring not to do the same.
That's a good point. I like, well said. Way to round that up. Rounding that up. To that point, I appreciate when a tax service bills monthly. Therefore, they understand that they need to keep serving monthly and not just send one huge ass invoice. Like I mean, we all know this is
I owe Bob $900 and I'm like waiting to write that check because I hate writing that check every year and I owe it to him and I need to pay him, but I just can't. My hand is broken.
That's a pretty small bill though. That's a ridiculously
that's just
small
my
bill.
personal one. That's not the
it's not the business side of it.
No.
But I like spreading like when we do taxes for people, we spread it out monthly because we need to. It's an ongoing service. It's not we do this at the end of the year. Like it reflects that it's ongoing. And also, and Chad, you know this as well as anybody, like cash is king. And as a small business owner, if I could pay everything monthly and it was dead even all the time, like I would be so much more effective as a business owner because I wouldn't have to manage these crazy ups and downs. And so when I look at a tax service, that's another thing I look for is that when they don't invoice you, like, boom, here's your once a year invoice. They spread it out across the year. So, and like let you put it on a retainer, whatever. So that it helps them. It's subscription style. It helps them, but it also helps not be a massive cash burden for you. The third thing I'll say is different hats and different seats. So many tax people like try to do it all on their own, and or they hire a tax preparer and let them do it all on their own, and they're just there to answer questions. And I think finding the right yin and yang of like generally in a tax situation, I think there's two people that need to be working on that. Because if it's just the tax dude, and we had this problem in our business last year, like Jeff, who's our tax dude internally, it was just him, and we were like building out the model. And he doesn't have time to do all the work and answer all the questions and be the resource for everybody and look into all the tax laws of this thing versus that thing. And so you need a team approach where you've got people that are doing the data entry stuff. And ultimately what we need with tax people is somebody that will chase us around and keep reminding us like, hey, Chad, I need this thing from you. Hey, Chad, when you get this form, send it to me. Hey, Chad, I need, fill this questionnaire out because we need your personal info. Like somebody on the team has to be doing that. It shouldn't be the CPA that bills for $100 an hour, but it shouldn't be the $400 to $500 an hour CPA dude. It should be a tax prep assistant. Right. But I think finding that sweet spot where you're still talking to that CPA, EA, the professional person in that business on that quarterly basis, and they've got a team supporting them to like make sure that the work is getting done. Just it's like two different jobs. It's two different roles. And I can't say that like the two different spectrums I gave of like accountants that I see that don't work well do that. I think that the tax strategy people do that. I don't think the lazy dude that sent me an invoice today for under $100 an hour for a CPA, I'm sure he doesn't have, like he was the one that emailed me his own invoice. Right? Like he doesn't know how to grow a business. I don't think he has any employees that even work for him. Why would you want to work for a guy that's that petty? But I think the wedge again goes in there to like, how do they price you? How do they bill you? How do they communicate with you? How do they have different people on the team supporting you in the right areas? I could get to what it costs, but Jai, we probably need to do one more commercial break, shouldn't we? Yeah.
Yep.
Let's hit a commercial break. Angela chimed in on my personal feed here. I gotta get them all trained. I got to go to the Best Damn Bookkeeping Facebook page. But just so you all know, Angela says hi. She's missing everybody. She's here in spirit.
Hi, Angela.
All right, we'll be back after a quick commercial, folks. See you in a minute.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it Green Care and Snow Care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
Hey everybody, Wayne Voles, the Prophet, your host of Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. If you listen to my show, you know I'm all about profit. As an industry, profit is something we fail to meet most of the time. If you're working hard but not seeing the results that you deserve, Profits Unlimited is here to help. We offer processes and systems designed specifically to make your company more successful, more profitable, and certainly more efficient. When you're ready to take your company to the next level, reach out to me at profitsareus.com. That's profitsareus.com. And don't forget to turn into Profit Time every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world, no one rocks like Turfs Up Radio. Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Jai, do I need to dance since Angela's not here? Should I be just to let you know the music is working? It's going. It's going.
It is going.
Chad's getting into it.
Oh, Chad.
What's up, business nerds? Happy Wednesday. We're wrapping it up. We're talking about nerdy accountants here and what to be looking for, especially as you're like going into tax season. And honestly, most of the people I talk to do not like their tax person. Chad, you mentioned you went through tax person after tax person after tax person. I feel like the same course runs itself with like personal financial advisors. I had a good one, but then he actually became my business partner because he left the financial advising world. Then I went through like 4 of them and then got a good one. And now I'm good. But man, sometimes you're like fishing for bluegills, baby. You just got to keep throwing them back. I want to talk price because you said, Chad, earlier you're paying Bob $900 to get your personal stuff done.
The accounting, not the bookkeeping, the accounting.
Yep, just the tax side of it.
Tax preparation.
Yep. Wait, what'd you say?
Tax preparation. Yep. Filing form and all that.
Yep. And I'd say that's like market rate. That's like spot on market rate. I've seen prices over in the thousands, and it reminds me of like maid service where you can pay somebody $70 an hour equivalent to clean your house, or there's somebody down the street that'll do it for 15. You're like, but what am I really getting? Like, you're going to steal some shit or fall down the stairs and sue me. And I'm going to be like, out of my house. And so in taxes, kind of the same thing. Like there's somebody out there that will do your personal taxes as a business owner. Like business owners' personal taxes are more convoluted, obviously. There's somebody out there that'll do it for $250. I'm sure of it. The same way your business probably isn't that person to your clients. I would be concerned if you choose that level of service, because we all know what kind of happens when you get too cheap and things that you should be willing to pay for the right service on. I'm not saying you got to go hire the tax strategy smoking mirrors guys for $5,000. But trying to find that sweet spot, I think to what Chad just said, like, I'll say $750 to $1,000 for the like personal return, Schedule C, state and federal filing, like that all kind of wrapped together. That's a pretty fair rate for the personal side of it. The business side of it probably ends up being close to the same amount, depending on how, if there's partners involved, how many different
$1,200. Yeah, I paid $1,200 for that.
Yeah, that's super, super fair. And so if you're taxed as a sole prop, it's really just a personal return. Like if you're taxed as a sole proprietor, you've got your personal return, Schedule C is part of that. Maybe your spouse has some stuff coming in or whatever. Again, like in that $750 to $1,000 is a really like common market rate for that type of return. Once you start talking partnerships, S corps, C corps, if you get into that, very few people do. Then it starts adding up because you have multiple returns to file. And an S corp return generally is very similar in price. Like if you're Chad and you've got a business segment, and you got to get some K1s going for different entities, you generally pay, I'll say 500 to 1,000, kind of in the same range. Maybe like I've seen some be a little bit lower for really simple businesses, for an S corp style tax return. And so you got a separate bill for that versus the personal. Sometimes they're separate, sometimes they're mashed together. And so that puts you at like $2,000 ish, right? So if you're out there and you're like shopping around tax services, and again, like that should come with the ability to call your person and talk to them. That should come with, I'm not going to say like hour-long consulting meetings because that's wildly unnecessary, but that should come with like them reaching out to you, you having the ability to reach out to them to get like at least quarterly tax support. Like that needs to be built into that, the ability to communicate with them. That's my opinion about what I think is fair and valuable. And it gets more as your business gets more convoluted, but I think so many of our listeners are in that space where they're tax as a sole prop or tax as an S corp. So they've got a couple returns. A few have a pile of partnerships, and it gets more complex than that. But if it starts getting much more than that, again, like I see people start charging $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for tax returns for pretty simple entities. And it's this smoke and mirrors thing of like, we're going to do so much tax strategy. And yeah, we cost $4,000, but look at how much money we can save you. And again, like once the price starts going up too much, it's like, are you really saving me that much? Or are you actually just getting me to spend more of my money so you can tell me that you saved me more in taxes because you cost me more of spending my own money? So just be super careful about that. If you're in that $1,500 to $2,500 range for your tax service, if you're like a pretty simple standard business like that, I think you're in the wheelhouse. I think you're finding something good. And then, like I said, it's just finding somebody who communicates well with you and actually understands business, and is a resource to you in business. What do you got to add to that, Chad? What do you think?
Well, I think when you're looking at your taxes, the one tip I have is especially if you're switching accountants, if they're not asking you questions, you hired the wrong guy. I've learned that. So like if you just go turn the numbers in and they send you a report, they're not looking out for your interest. They're not asking you, okay, well, what about this? What about your vehicle? What about, just what if they're looking into your business? There's a lot of questions they should be asking.
Tons.
And then once you get to know them, like Bob doesn't ask me a lot of questions anymore, but we do, like when he sends me over the return, let's look at it. Then we discuss it. He might ask me a question or two. And then he might tweak. Every year he tweaks it a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's gotten to know me. He's done them for 20 years.
Yep.
So I don't have a lot of banter with him back and forth. We banter back every year for about a day or two.
Yeah.
When he does.
When there's an event. When there's an event of like, oh, here's my weird thing this year. This is what I got going on.
Exactly.
How do we need to do
like,
this?
Well, this year was the sell the business and our basis is totally effed, and so I'm probably gonna end up paying a lot of money now, but is what it is, but because some stuff was put in, some loans were put in as income, which made my basis go up, or what was elevated, and now we've taken it back out. It's like, ooh, that basis is not 800,000, it might be 500, maybe even 400. It's like, so that sale just got taxed, which it wasn't going to be that much taxed. Now it's like, oh shit. But it is what it is, whatever you pay the government. And, like I said, you get put on a payment plan. I'll just pay that sucker out for 10 years, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But, but they need to be asking you questions. I mean, if they're not, if you're high, literally, you're just going to H&R Block. You just didn't know it.
Yeah. Right. And that was before you got here, that was my spectrum. The first side of the spectrum is that lazy person that just like, you just send them the data and they just punch it in. And it's like, wait, what? Like you didn't want to know anything about what I just gave you. There's like, no, I got it. It's all entered. It's all your taxes are filed. Here's what you owe. It's like, oh, that's just data entry. Like I could have done that. I was looking for you to like tell me where I F this thing up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, I got a client. I told him I'd be a little bit late because I'm on a radio show.
Hey, go get it. Go get your client.
So,
stop working broke, Chad Murray.
I texted you. Answer my text. We'll chat tomorrow or whenever.
Don't you have Darren's number?
Why would I? Darren's number for what?
For the show, right?
You'll have to give that to me again. But I talked to you about something else on the text too. Look at
your text. Damn! I got all these texts to read.
You got two texts from me. Two texts.
Oh, I just saw one.
Hey, one's about business.
Ooh,
I need a bookkeeper.
Ooh, I know. I know a guy.
I know one.
I know a guy.
I don't have one. And by the way, you need to hire David. He needs a job still.
I do.
Dude, you need to hire him. I am telling you right now.
I mean,
I almost got a job being a bookkeeper for another big company. And listen, I have never advocated for someone in my life to look at but I'm telling you, this guy was my bookkeeper.
Yeah.
We hired another bookkeeper, so all that kind of stuff. He had my back. He knows what to do. You'll never have the most loyal person in the world. You don't have to overpay him. Pay him $30,000 a year right now just to start him. He doesn't care. Give him that job.
He's just in a long line because I recruit like over a year in advance. So he's in line. He's just in a long ass line.
Jumps in front, and I promise you, I'm not kidding. I'm really not kidding.
I believe you.
You're really gonna get a lifer. He will die with you.
I believe.
Seriously, when you sell your business, he'll go. Like he'll be there till the end. Like the only reason they got rid of him is just flat out because they had their own book. The new ownership had one.
Yeah.
So they don't need him. So he got canned. So I'm telling you, you really should give him a call soon. But we'll talk tomorrow. I got to go, guys. Thank you for having me on. Love you guys.
See you, Chad.
Appreciate
the man.
it.
Later. Jai, I got to go too. I got to go. I'm like playing house sitter for Marty's aunt and uncle. I'm in charge of coordinating affairs. You got to go be a dad. You got to go do dad stuff. Make some breakfast.
I need to get my son ready for school.
All right, man. Business nerds. That's all we got for you. You guys know what to know. I got one more thing for you. We got Michael Hinderleiter on the show tonight. I got to shoot him a note picture. He's so good to go tonight.
Looking forward to that one.
Hinderleiter. Until then, you guys know what to do. Work smarter and harder. Go earn some pride. We'll see you in a few hours.